Ever wonder why, in every crowd, there's always that one man, no money, no status, no impressive looks, no gifts, who still wins the woman every wealthy man wanted and actually keeps her? You've seen it. The richest, the flashiest, all left on the sidelines, while she's obsessed with the one nobody expected. This isn't luck. Machiavelli revealed the hidden rules. Women crave what almost every man gives away too easily. Today, I'll show you 5 secret laws that let you outplay the wealthy and win the woman you truly want, no matter what you own. If being ignored for not being rich ever stung you, this is your advantage. Stay till the end. 1. Presence over possessions. The first moment she stopped looking for you was the moment you made yourself always available. The faster you answered, the more present you became, the more invisible you felt. That's how power is lost, not in one loud argument, but in the slow, silent erosion of your presence. You thought you were winning her with effort, but all she felt was how easy it was to reach you, and how little it cost to have you. Imagine a man named Daniel, 31, living in a small apartment in a crowded city. He works long hours. He doesn't have much, no new car, no expensive clothes, just the same watch he's worn for 5 years. Daniel meets Anna after work one night, and for the first time, he feels like he's finally being seen. She smiles at his stories. She texts first. She says, "I feel safe with you." Daniel, wanting to keep that feeling, gives her everything. Time, attention, fast replies, late-night rise when she's sad, a shoulder every time she needs to cry. The more she shares, the more he gives. He clears his calendar, skips plans with friends, lets his phone ring late into the night if she calls. And for a while, he thinks this is love. But something shifts. Anna's texts slow down. The calls stop coming. Her eyes drift to her phone even when she's with him. Daniel notices, but he tries harder. Buys her a gift, plans a surprise dinner, but nothing works. Then one night, walking home after dropping her off, he remembers the way she used to look at him, like he was the only one in the world. Now, he's a fixture in her life, predictable, safe. There's no edge, no tension. In her silence, Daniel feels the ice-cold truth settle in his chest. He didn't lose her to someone else. He lost her to his own availability. He tries to remember the moment things began to break. Was it the time he cancelled his soccer game to bring her medicine? Or the night he replied, "I miss you," before she even hit send? There's a pain in realizing you've handed over your value for free, like giving away all your secrets to someone who just wants to guess them. Daniel was never the man with money or status, but he hoped being present could bridge that gap. He didn't know that presence without boundaries can turn into a trap. The more she could rely on him, the less she had to wonder if he'd always be there. Machiavelli would call this the fatal mistake of men who crave love, confusing presence with power. In his world, the more a man gives away his time, his attention, his energy, the more he shrinks in the eyes of those he wants to impress. Presence, Machiavelli said, is a weapon when used sparingly. It's the difference between a rare coin and loose change. The less you offer, the more she values what you do. Reveal yourself too fully, and you become as common as background noise. Which one exposed a habit you didn't know you had? Comment the shift you're about to make. What happens next isn't rejection. It's the shift, when your absence becomes more valuable than your presence ever was. He thought being there meant being wanted. She saw reliability, but missed the spark. In every relationship, there's a moment when effort turns to routine, and routine becomes the slow death of desire. He was the man she trusted, but not the one she chased. How many times has a man given his all, hoping it would be enough, only to find out it's the very thing that cost him everything? Pull back, cancel a plan, let her feel the gap where your attention used to be. Machiavelli knew the real game begins when you step out of the spotlight and let curiosity do the work for you. Because what's coming isn't about being cold, it's about regaining control of your own value. The rarest men aren't the ones who give the most, they're the ones who know exactly when to disappear and when to leave the rest unsaid. If you walk away now, you'll keep trading yourself for moments that vanish. But the next law reveals how mystery bends reality itself, and how you can become the rare presence she can't stop searching for. Skip it, and you'll keep offering everything, only to be forgotten. Stay, and you'll learn the move that makes your absence unforgettable. 2. The rarity of true presence. She once told him, "You're not like other guys, with you it's quiet." He thought it was a compliment. He didn't realize silence could be the rarest, most expensive thing in a world addicted to noise. Most men crowd a woman's life with empty gestures, clever words, constant signals, always trying to win her, always filling every gap with something, anything to be noticed. But real presence is almost extinct. It's the one thing she can't scroll past, mute, or replace. Picture someone like David, 36, works in IT, not a player, never the center of attention. David grew up thinking being a good man meant showing up, doing everything right, staying available. At first, it worked. Women told him he was dependable, sweet, the safe choice. But one by one, those connections evaporated. He could feel the difference. In the beginning, her eyes sparkled at his jokes. Later, her phone became her real lover at dinner. He asked, "Is something wrong?" She said, "No, I just need some space." The truth? She needed a feeling he never knew how to give. Then came Sophie. She was different, or so he thought. The first night, he just listened. No advice, no Me Too stories, no racing to solve her problems. Sophie told him about her dreams, her father's anger, her fear of never being understood. For once, David sat with it all. He watched her speak and felt the room slow down. He didn't check his phone. He didn't plan his reply. He was just there, and Sophie noticed. "When I talk to you, it's like nothing else exists," she said. He laughed, but inside something shifted. For the first time, he saw how rare this was, how few men could give presence, not performance. But as days passed, David's old habits returned. He wanted to impress, to fill space, to do more. The spark faded. Sophie withdrew. It hurt, but this time, David could name what went wrong. Presence had made her open up. The loss of it, his need to perform, to fix, to get attention, closed her again. It was never about being perfect, it was about being real, being with her, not just around her. Machiavelli would say, true presence is a currency that multiplies as you withhold it, and evaporates when spent carelessly. The crowd offers her words, gifts, attention. The rare man offers the gift of being. No agenda, no attempt to impress, just steady energy. In the power game, this is what makes him impossible to forget. His silence is not emptiness, it's a mirror, forcing her to see herself. And, for the first time, feels seen. When everyone else is noise, he is the calm in the middle of the storm. Which one hit you the hardest, and why? Drop the number below, the one that felt like it was written for you. What if the secret isn't about saying the right thing, but being the only one who doesn't try to fill the silence? What if, in a world that never stops talking, the man who listens holds all the cards? Soon, you'll see how this rare presence doesn't just attract her attention, it unlocks the kind of emotional connection most men never taste. He believed showing up was enough. She wanted something deeper. Someone who wasn't distracted, who made her feel the moment was unrepeatable. Most men compete for her attention. The rare man makes her forget the world. In every relationship, there's a difference between being there and truly being with her. And that difference is everything. How many times have ordinary men been replaced while the rare presence is the one she remembers late at night? Tonight, try this. When she talks, look her in the eye. Let her finish her thought. Ask nothing in return. Don't check your phone. Notice the energy shift. The world will feel smaller, the room quieter, her body language softer. Machiavelli knew, what's rare becomes precious. If you want to stand out, stop performing. Start witnessing. But don't think presence alone is enough. The next law reveals how presence, when combined with true emotional connection, becomes the force that bonds her to you long after words fade. If you skip this, you'll never know why some men stay a memory while others become an addiction. 3. Emotional connection through presence. The real tragedy isn't when she stops loving you, it's when she never truly connects with you in the first place. Some men spend years right beside her, yet she never lets them in. You offer attention, gifts, your very best self, hoping it will be enough. Still, something remains out of reach. Her soul is untouched. Her eyes never light up the way you imagined. It's the silent heartbreak of being there, but never truly being felt. Take Chris, 38, a man who learned the hard way that presence is not the same as connection. In every relationship, he did the right things, planned dates, answered calls, gave time, was always available. But with Mia, things felt different. Early on, their talks lasted for hours. She shared her childhood wounds, her ambitions, her secret fears. Chris listened, but in the back of his mind, he was always preparing to say the right thing, to offer comfort, to show her his value. The deeper she shared, the more he felt pressured to solve, to fix, to impress. He tried harder, said more, gave advice, told stories, played the perfect partner. But one night, while Chris was talking, Mia went silent. Her eyes glazed over. He felt the cold wall appear, a distance that words could not cross. Afterward, she barely replied to his messages. The next week, she said she needed space. Chris sat alone, realizing that the connection he thought was real was only ever on the surface. It wasn't his lack of effort that pushed her away, it was his lack of emotional presence. Machiavelli would say, most men chase attention, but only a rare man can give a woman the feeling of truly being seen. In the game of desire, the prize goes not to the one who performs best, but to the one who witnesses most. Connection is not built through noise, gifts, or clever lines. It's forged in the quiet, in the moments you stop trying to prove and start letting her be. Presence, when real, is a mirror. It makes her feel alive. It unlocks the gates of trust, and that trust is more valuable than any prize you could buy. Here's a question you should fear. What if every relationship that faded wasn't about what you lacked, but about what you never gave? Your full, undivided presence. He did everything right and yet missed the only thing that mattered. She longed for the man who could just sit with her pain, who wouldn't fill every silence, who wouldn't panic at her sadness. While other men raced to fix, he became the one she remembered at 2 a.m. not because of what he did, but because of how she felt with him. Most men confuse attention for connection. The rare few create a safe haven where she can actually breathe. Tonight, the move is simple. When you're with her, turn the world off. No phone, no TV, no agenda. Listen, not to reply, but to absorb. Let her speak and don't try to fix or guide. Let her see the calm in your eyes. Machiavelli understood. Emotional connection is the real battlefield. The man who masters it becomes unforgettable, not through words, but through the feeling he leaves behind. The echo of your presence is more powerful than anything you say. Do you disagree with any of these? Challenge it below. With logic, we read everything, and yet presence alone isn't enough. The next law will reveal why. Without emotional discipline, even the deepest connection can be shattered by your own reactions. If you miss what comes next, you risk turning every moment of real connection into another forgotten story. 4. Emotional discipline over drama. The moment you let your emotions lead, you lose her respect, even if she never says a word. It always starts small. A message left on read, her laughter at a stranger's joke, a late reply that crawls under your skin. Suddenly, you're not thinking clearly. Every move becomes a test. You tell yourself you're just being honest, but the truth is, you've started performing, competing for her attention, begging for certainty, drowning in anxiety. And in that spiral, she sees it all. The man who had his own center, now orbiting around her mood. Consider Alex, 32, graphic designer, independent, careful with his feelings, but human. He meets Sarah, confident, magnetic. At first, he's calm, unbothered, present. But as weeks pass, he finds himself watching her every move, When she replies late, he feels the urge to double text. When she smiles at another man, something dark twists inside him. One evening at a friend's party, Sarah laughs too long with a mutual acquaintance. Alex feels invisible, the old panic rising. He wants to storm over, to demand answers, to make her explain, but something stops him. Instead, he watches, silent, letting the wave pass. Later that night, Sarah asks why he seemed distant. He shrugs. "I was just enjoying the night." She looks at him differently, not confused but curious. For the first time, she's not in control of his emotions. He is. That night, Alex learns what most men never will. Machiavelli wrote that power isn't held by the loudest, but by the one who never lets chaos pull him from his frame. Emotional discipline is the ultimate act of self-respect. Most men let a woman's reaction set their value. They explode, sulk, explain, perform, trying to be chosen, terrified to be left. But the rare man keeps his center. He allows discomfort. He feels the fear and refuses to react. He becomes the storm's eye, calm, still, unshakable. The more drama he resists, the more she leans in. In the theater of attraction, the man who needs least is the one she cannot predict. That's the secret. Emotional drama is a game, one only the disciplined can win. Have you ever wondered how some men never get pulled into pointless arguments, never chase, never beg, and yet never seem to get left behind? What if mastering your emotional reactions isn't just about self-control, but about making her chase your calm? He was never the loudest in the room. She thought she could pull him off balance, but the more she pushed, the more he stood still. In every relationship, there's a tipping point. One side becomes the chaser, the other the prize. He understood this law. She saw unpredictability and power. He saw a test. The gap between men who react and men who respond, that's the difference between being consumed and being remembered. Does your composure signal power, or does your chaos expose your weakness? Tonight, stop justifying yourself. When you feel the urge to react, breathe. Count to 5. Let silence be your first answer. Notice how the room changes, how she waits for your response, how the energy shifts back in your favor. Machiavelli would smile. Emotional discipline is the leverage most men will never claim. Let her wonder what you're really thinking. Don't hand her your playbook. Which one of these cost you the most? Personally. Drop a one-line story below. No names, just truth. If you think power ends here, you're mistaken. The next law exposes how emotional stability, when mastered, makes you not just her interest, but her anchor. Miss what comes next, and you'll keep playing small in every emotional storm. Stay tuned for the power of emotional stability, and learn why true strength is never loud but always remembered. 5. The power of emotional stability. The most dangerous mistake men make isn't losing their temper, it's letting her see he has no control at all. Think about it. She pushes, she prods, she throws little storms your way, not because she wants you to break, but because she wants to see if you'll hold. Every man believes love is about being open, sharing every feeling, never holding back. But when chaos erupts, the man who panics is never the man she chooses in the end. Picture Ethan, 35. Steady job, decent looks, a life that seems in order from the outside. He meets Jenna, beautiful, quick-witted, impossible to predict. Early on, he feels calm around her, but as they grow closer, old fears creep in. She cancels a date last minute. She gets distant. She flirts with someone else at a party, just long enough to see if Ethan will notice. One night, after a small argument, Ethan loses it. Words spill out. Accusations, anger, raw neediness. Jenna's face goes cold. The next morning, she barely replies. That's the last he sees of her. Later he learns she told friends. He felt safe at first, but when things got real, he fell apart. No one mentions his gifts, his jokes, or how hard he tried, only the collapse. Ethan's story isn't rare. Most men are taught that expressing every emotion equals honesty, that reacting instantly is authentic. Machiavelli would tell you, true power is never about being perfectly calm, it's about being able to ride out the storm without letting the world inside you collapse. Emotional stability is a weapon, not a weakness. The man who stands still when chaos hits, who can breathe through discomfort, who doesn't lash out or beg or vanish when she tests him, that's the man who becomes her anchor. Because women don't need perfection, they need the sense that when everything falls apart, he won't. Here's the hard truth. When she feels unsafe with your emotions, she closes. But when she feels you can hold her storm and your own, she doesn't just trust you, she admires you. It's not about hiding your feelings. It's about not letting your feelings rule you. The difference between reacting in fear and responding in strength is the line between being a memory and being a foundation. Which strategy do you wish your younger self had known? Comment it like you're writing to someone still stuck in the old cycle. What if every argument you lost was never about the issue, but about how easily you let your frame be broken? What if her tests weren't attacks, but invitations to step up as a leader? What if your calm is the only proof she needs? He once believed intensity would keep her. She watched closely, waiting to see if he'd stay centered when things turned rough. The moment he collapsed, the game ended. The men who get remembered are never the ones who explain or chase. They're the ones who weather the storm in silence, steady, unshakable. Is your composure a shield or a mask that cracks under pressure? Try this. The next time she pulls away or says something that stings, do nothing. No apology, no demand, no desperate explanation. Just breathe and let the silence settle. Watch how quickly the energy shifts, how curiosity returns, how she tries to find your center. Machiavelli would say, the less you react, the more you control the frame. Don't think emotional strength is the final move. Up next, you'll learn how purpose, integrity, and the weapon of silence make you untouchable. Even to the wealthiest, most charming men. Skip the next law, and you'll always play defense. Stay and see why a man with purpose is the only man she can't replace. 6. Purpose, integrity, and silence. Some men vanish the moment the crowd disappears. The applause fades, the room empties, and suddenly they're just another face in the dark, lost, waiting for someone to give them meaning. But the rarest power isn't found in the spotlight. It's built in silence, shaped by purpose, and revealed only when no one is watching. A man with no mission is forgettable, but a man who lives for something bigger than approval, he's impossible to ignore, even when he says nothing. Meet Sam, 39, engineer. He never cared much for parties, never chased after attention. His mornings started before sunrise, quiet coffee, old books, a long run alone. He showed up for work, delivered more than expected, kept his promises, never advertised his sacrifices. In relationships, Sam was steady, almost mysterious. He never posted declarations of love, never begged to be noticed. Instead, he built a life brick by brick, side projects, midnight study, helping neighbors without a word. Women wondered why he wasn't always available, why he could disappear for days and return calmer, stronger, as if nothing could shake his center. They tried to pull him into drama, into endless conversations about feelings, but he never explained, never chased, never defended himself when misunderstood. He'd listen, then return to his own work. Over time, they realized his value didn't come from being wanted. It came from being needed, even if only by himself. Sam's secret, Machiavelli would say, the man who serves his own mission is immune to manipulation. True purpose is silent. It's the foundation under your feet, the wall between you and every demand for your attention. Most men run after applause, validation, the next like, and in that chase they lose themselves. A purposeful man moves differently. He doesn't rush to fill the silence, doesn't need to prove himself in every room. His absence becomes a question, his focus an invitation, his boundaries a source of attraction. Women sense it. They may not say it, but they feel pulled into the gravity of a man who is busy building something only he can see. Have you ever asked if your energy is spent becoming someone or simply being liked? What if every time you explained yourself you actually lowered your value? What if the most powerful move is to do what you do in silence? He stopped performing and started producing. She stopped searching for his weakness and started wondering about his vision. Most men are loud about their intentions, hoping to be picked. The rare one never signals his next move. That difference isn't arrogance, it's a quiet, unshakable self-respect. Is your life a stage for approval, or a path that no one else can walk for you? Tonight, cancel the show. Turn off the need to be seen. Work in silence, study alone, say less. Let people wonder. Machiavelli knew, the more mysterious your mission, the more powerful your presence. Let curiosity do the heavy lifting. Never fill in every blank. If this video opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to hear this right now. It could change their life. And if you think purpose is the final chapter, think again. Up next, you'll see how silence, when combined with purpose, makes you untouchable to women and rivals alike. Skip the next law, and you'll keep performing for an audience that vanishes. Stay, and you'll discover why true power is never loud and never lonely. You've seen the hidden laws Machiavelli exposed. Why presence, discipline, purpose, integrity, and silence outweigh money in the game of real attraction. These aren't tricks. They are the rare traits that turn you from just another man into the standard others are measured by. When you stop performing and start leading with intent, you gain respect, not just attention. The right woman is drawn to your power, your depth, your unwavering focus, not to what you give, but to who you are. True connection is built in silence and forged by self-mastery. This is your turning point. Walk out of this video sharper, bolder, and ready to demand more from life and from yourself. If you're ready to own your story and become untouchable, subscribe now and join a brotherhood that never settles for less. Your next chapter begins the moment you stop chasing and start building.